welcome back into my wonderful, most favoriteest type of video to watch. Now, I know you're probably thinking, favorite, what about Dank? Mike, look, don't get me wrong, I love Dank, all right? Dank is amazing, and I love freaking memes, but anybody who knows me personally, or just know me in general, I just know since an itty bitty baby, since a little kid, since I was just a little sperm swimming around in my daddy nut. Since a jit, bro, I've always loved horror. I love every freaking thing horror, okay? And I'm also like dummy scared of everything horror. How does it work together? I have no idea, but that's enough of my rant. I ain't gonna do too much talking, all right? That's just for the newbies. But anyway, by the way, check out 4 Disturbing True High School Horror Stories by Mr. Nightmare. Now, I feel like it's been a minute since we watched some good horror stuff. Anyway, wanna check out the original video? Link in the description below, but let's go. Yeah, let's go. Yo, I got my window open too because it's hot, yo. And if y'all hear some sounds like shh, it's starting. Shut up. Why y'all talk so much? Shut up.
I was a new student to Southern Lehigh High School in Pennsylvania. Going into my junior year of high school, not knowing anyone was really rough. Everyone obviously had their friend group sorted out by then.
Yep, you're about to
the
use
worst
high
part
school.
was lunchtime though. My school wouldn't let juniors leave for lunch, only seniors. So I had to eat in the cafeteria.
I used to sneak.
I was dreading it because I knew I'd have no one to sit with, and I didn't want to force myself into a random table.
I was like my first
when
month in
lunchtime
Texas.
finally came, however, I walked into the cafeteria with my tray of food looking for a place to sit. Every single table was taken. I didn't even have the option of sitting alone.
That's a nice lunchroom.
But there was one table in the corner of the cafeteria with only 2 kids sitting at it.
They crazy.
That was the least intimidating spot to sit. So I walked over and asked if I could sit there. They both looked at each other, and one of them said yeah. I noticed upon sitting down that the 2 were identical twins. They looked like they were partially of Hispanic heritage, but they didn't have accents.
And
they honestly seemed alright. They introduced themselves as Antonio and Bruno, and they had a conversation with me. They invited me to hang out with them after school, and honestly I figured why not? I had to start off somewhere as far as making friends. I got their numbers, and after school, I went home to drop off all my stuff. Shortly after, I got a text from Bruno, telling me he and his brother were planning on hanging out.
At a park,
he told me to meet them around 9 that night at the nearby cemetery that was like a 10-minute walk from my house.
I'm not about to meet you no cemetery.
He said there was a cool hangout spot near there.
That's a cool.
Plus, the first day of school was on a Friday, so we had off the next day.
I'm not meeting you.
I had nothing to do, so I said, yeah, I'm down. When the time came, Bruno texted me one more time asking if I was still coming.
No.
I said, yeah, I'm gonna leave in a few, and confirmed we were meeting on the road by the cemetery.
Why would you meet someone first day at night at a...
So I began my walk in the dark to the cemetery. The longer I walked, the more I thought about my whole move and being the new kid in high school.
Did you think about how stupid you were?
Thinking about the fact that I was literally walking to a cemetery at night to hang out with 2 kids I just met. But anyway, I got to the little road next to the cemetery and asked Bruno where they were. He started typing right away, and he said they were in the woods hanging by a small lake that they wanted to show me.
This is all. I'm sorry, stop it, y'all. If you're new to my channel, I'll stop a lot. I'll talk a lot. I'm sorry. This is all perfect scary movie setup type of scenarios. I say, cemetery, night, woods, a lake. Boy, you couldn't pay me to meet you. Boy, that friendship before it started. Boy, bye. Boy, bye. I'm gone. No, it's a GG for this friendship.
Sent his location.
My bad. Go back. It's a GG for that relationship.
He started typing right away, and he said they were in the woods hanging by a small lake that they wanted to show me.
You about to be hanging.
Then he promptly sent his location. So I made my way into the woods, pushing branches out of my way,
you really
using my tiny phone flashlight as my only light. I started calling for Bruno and Antonio as I felt like I was close enough, according to the location he sent me at least. Suddenly I heard footsteps, so I stopped. Definitely footsteps approaching me.
Bruno?
But they were very low and slow. I called out that they better not be trying to scare me. When they weren't answering me though, I decided this was stupid. I turned and started walking back towards the road. But those footsteps I mentioned earlier, they turned from quiet and slow to fast, and before I could even react, someone had their nails digging into my neck, effectively choking me. I heard a familiar voice screaming, "Grab him, grab him." I managed to break free from this sort of chokehold and sprinted towards the road. I know they followed me until the tree line by the road. I was faster than them, and I could run for miles. And that's what I did. I ran straight home and told my parents.
See,
they considered calling the cops.
good thing about this story,
I thought it would be better to get pictures of the nail marks on my neck and report it to the school the next day.
Yup, what? Nope.
That's what we did. And with the help of the text that I got from Bruno, I was able to get the 2 students expelled. My parents made me block both their numbers. I didn't exactly argue with that, though.
Hold up.
My parents wanted me to confirm that these kids didn't know where we lived, and I told them simply, not as far as I know. So anyway, one night about a week later, I woke up to my room feeling
bro, I'm sorry, hold up, bro. If we in school together, that means every day would take something. If you set me up like that, you try to get boy, man, we straight boxing. Nah, this dude's a clown.
Cold. I heard the sound of wind blowing into my room, and I looked at the window to see it was slid completely open.
Let it be Bruno, I'm knocking
his
teeth out.
I wondered if my mom came in to open it, but that would make absolutely no sense.
Because they saw you run home.
It was like 50 degrees out that night. I walked over to it and looked down below. A few feet below my bedroom window, there's a part of the exterior of my house that comes outward, creating a sort of ledge underneath my window that my father always told me to jump onto in case of a fire. I shut my window and walked over to my parents' bedroom. I gently knocked and opened the door. My mom groggily asked what.
Gently knock.
I had to ask her if she opened my window. She sat up saying, no, why? I told her in a louder and more concerned voice now that my window was opened all the way by somebody. She started shaking my dad to wake him up and go check my room with me.
I thought he'd be gentle,
when he woke up, he told me to grow up and go back to sleep. I left my parents' door open as I walked back down the hall to my room.
In my parents' bed. My bad, I have to go back, my bad.
I picked up on something that I'm surprised I picked up on.
The door.
My door.
Yup.
It seemed to
Don't go in that room, my guy.
Shut now, as opposed to completely open when I left. I pushed the door open just a little bit so I could get a look through the crack and see if, you know, someone was behind the door. Even though I had the thought of the possibility, I never could have actually expected to see it. There was someone hiding behind my door. I screamed for my dad.
I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. This tonight, bro, never ever have jump scares, bro. Oh my god! Hold up, go back, hold up.
Someone hiding behind my door.
Man,
I screamed for my dad like a little girl. I screamed so loud I'm sure it could be heard 3 doors down.
Good, keep screaming.
Then my door suddenly slammed shut.
Yep, you can have
just as my dad came rushing out of his room over to me.
Because they left now anyway.
I screamed, "There's people in my room." So he barged into the room and turned the light on. At that moment, we saw the leg of a person jumping out my window.
Grab the leg.
My dad ran to the window, then downstairs and out the front door to attempt to chase them down. But he came back a few minutes later out of breath, saying he didn't see anyone. Full of energy and fear, I swore it had to be those twins that I got expelled.
Man, heck shit it is. Man, knock these dudes out.
I called the police, and I had to talk to them when they arrived, explaining the whole story back to the incident in the woods. My father backed up my story, but without proof of who entered, they said there wasn't anything they could do. They merely ordered us to lock the doors and consider installing cameras outside. As positive I am that it was either one of or both of those twins in my room, after getting through a solid couple months of sleeping in fear, nothing to this nature ever happened again. Looking back now, I don't know why I was so willing to meet these kids in the woods.
Because you wanted some friends.
I should have realized in the cafeteria that day that they looked like trouble, and I should have stayed away.
Yep, now the messed part about that, because now they're going to be on to you, because now they already know that, boom, we got him, we already pushed a little bit, we got to continue, because at this point, he's just going to snitch, or it basically was no type of game, it got to keep going, so you're going to have to go to school and just, look, we're going to have to box, my guy. Ain't no way. But especially if I was in high school, ain't no way no other kids about to run me. I thought you got me messed up, you ain't running me in my house. I wish you would come in here.
Freshman year of high school, 2007. Gym class, last period. We had a substitute gym teacher on one of the stormiest days of the year.
The gym teacher crazy.
He was an older man, not a senior citizen, but gray, maybe 55 to 60.
Oh, good.
He took attendance, and when he passed me, he did a double take at me, which I found a bit uncomfortable. Not to float my own boat, but I always understood I looked older and really good for a freshman.
Looking like a snack, okay, but...
The sub told us to get into our volleyball teams, and he disappeared into the hall by the locker rooms for a while. 40 minutes went by and the period was over. It was time for us to get changed and go home.
He gonna be watching me.
I got into the locker room, but for some reason, my locker wasn't opening. I tried my usual combination over and over and over. It wouldn't click open though. I had to go to the sub and let him know to ask for my combination again. I figured maybe the combo just slipped from my mind for some reason.
Sub changed it.
The sub told me to give him a few minutes and he'd get the list of locker combos.
Because he gonna get your information when
I
you
waited
leave.
outside the office, and out he finally came with a book in his hands, open to a specific page. He walked into the girls' locker room with me, which I didn't expect him to do. The locker room was basically empty now, with one girl finishing up changing.
Girl, wait for me!
We walked over to my locker and tried the combination written down on the paper. It didn't work no matter how many times he tried it. Each time he tried it and failed, he would look at me and laugh.
Well, it's funny.
I would force myself to laugh along to be
I knew that.
It started getting weird. He put his hand on my shoulder as he said, "We'll figure this out." He tried the combination again, with his hand still on my shoulder.
Hand off me.
When it didn't work again, I felt his hand slowly started inching down from my shoulder to my lower back.
See, like this peed me off.
I pushed myself away and grabbed my bag, saying, "It's okay, I'm late for..."
If my daughter ever come home and tell me a story like that, bro, I promise on everything I love, I would knock this old man clean out. I do not care.
My lower back.
It always be the
I pushed
pervs.
myself away and grabbed my bag, saying, "It's okay.
You've been
I'm
alive
late
for like
my
100
bus."
years. You ain't get enough meow.
He tried a combo in the locker one more time, and it opened. He smiled and walked away. I waited till I heard the locker room door shut. Then I proceeded to getting changed quickly.
Because he gonna open, he know the code.
And suddenly the room went dark. I finished pulling up my pants and shut my locker in the dark. I threw on my backpack and started walking to the back exit of the locker room, which led outside. I feared that the sub would be waiting right by the door for me. I got predatory vibes from him.
Me too.
When I got to the end of that specific aisle of lockers I was in the intersection of two rows. I'd have to turn down left to get to the exit door, but still. Naturally, I had to look right to make sure that it was clear. There was a little light seeping in from one single rectangular window that sat under the ceiling. It was enough. Enough for me to see him peeking at me from around the wall of lockers. So that's when I ran for the exit door. He came over behind me saying, wait, it's not what it looks like.
Man, get out of here!
I ran outside into the rain off the campus of the high school and walked the rest of the way home, giving me time to reflect on what happened.
That is so messed up.
By the time I got home, soaking wet, it came to me that he most likely changed my locker combination somehow as a way of getting alone with me in the locker room.
See, I knew he did, but what I thought he did was, I thought maybe like, okay, he changed it, but he's gonna act like he can't open it that way because eventually she's gonna have to leave. Then that way he can really open it and get like her phone or her ID, get all her information. That's what I thought he was gonna do. But regardless, I knew he did it. Clown, oh, nasty little boy.
As for what he could have possibly been planning to do when he cut the lights, I never wanted to imagine. Honestly, I was too emotionally scared and quite frankly embarrassed to tell anyone about it.
Man, I told
Not even my parents
everybody.
or friends. It was something I just kept to myself all these years.
I hate when people do
because
that.
truthfully, I just don't feel comfortable telling people.
Oh my god, I hate when people do that. And now he's probably still free there because you don't want to run. Oh my god, clown.
When I was in high school, I was in the band.
Me too.
At my school, band was basically an easy A. It was either that, orchestra, or
you got a grade
chorus.
for it.
So I went with band. Anyhow, our band teacher, Mr. Nicholson, had the grading system set up so that as long as you attended class and went to your weekly lessons, you got an A. Sadly, towards the end of one quarter, I was missing 2 lessons. Because of that, my grade was a B.
Cool, man.
I went to him after class to ask if I could make up the lessons.
I'm good to be.
And even though he seemed reluctant, he said he would let me come in during a lunch period and practice in one of the downstairs storage rooms to get credit for a lesson. I was more than happy with that, because realistically, I would probably just play games on my phone anyway instead of actually practicing. I arrived to the music room during my lunch period the next day. So I took my saxophone and headed down the stairs outside the music room towards the basement area for the music department. It was always kind of creepy down there because absolutely no one besides the music teachers would go down there usually. And the lights were kind of
Yep,
shitty.
I ain't go down there.
I'd only been down there a couple times before that day. But anyway, I walked down the hallway.
You know what? Hold
on
up.
either
My bad
side-
stuff. You know, this is like, this world is a mess, bro. It's like you would think sending your kid to school would be safe. Like, you gotta worry about freaking teachers, bro. Like, that's some BS to send your son or your daughter to school. Thinking they're in good hands, they're safe. Like, all right, they're at school, boom, boom, boom. But you gotta watch out. These people, even like sick predators, whatever, work at freaking schools. Like, that is crazy, bro. It like legit just hit me. Like, you know what? Like, even at school, that means your kid is not even safe at school. You gotta worry about some old perv at school. I ain't gonna get mad. Let's just get back to the video, bro. Can you be quiet? Why you talk so much? We about to watch the video. Shut up.
There were a bunch of doors that led into small, maybe 7 by 7 feet rooms. All of these rooms were used for storing things like chairs,
And
music
children.
stands, spare instruments, Christmas decorations, and whatever. I stepped into one of the rooms and shut the door.
Why would you?
I set up my music on one of the stands
I mean, at that
in the
point,
room
she
just
don't
in case Mr.
know what's
Nicholson were to
going
come down to check on me. But really, I didn't plan on actually playing. I started playing games on my phone, and then flick. Darkness.
911.
As dark as it could get, minus my phone screen. I looked over to the light switch to the room just instinctively and flicked it up and down a few times, but that did nothing. I stumbled as I got up from the seat to open the door, to more darkness. I held my phone out in front of me
No,
to
'cause
light
you
up
can
this
see
little
that.
hallway, even if it was just barely. I think I had like an iPhone 3 or something.
You know how
Those
scary
old
it is in
ones
the
didn't have
basement?
flashlights.
It's dark.
But anyway, that little light from my phone was enough to see one of the doors open near the end of the hall, and I heard something being dragged in that room, like one of the big plastic containers. There was also manic breathing, followed by animal-like grunting. Then I saw a big plastic container being pushed out of that room into the hallway.
What? Cause he about to take.
As I saw this, I turned off my phone screen and
Thank
went back into the room I was just in. I shut the door so quietly. I don't know what exactly I was thinking in that moment
It's
that I
probably not to
decided
teach
to
you.
hide. But I think the strange sounds I was hearing from this person, mixed with the random blackout, made me wary of staying in that hallway. Whoever that was blocking the stairs though. And of course, I got no reception down in that little basement area.
Oh, yo, you are in the basement.
All I felt comfortable doing was sitting in that room and waiting for the lights to hopefully turn back on. But the lights seemed like they were never going to turn back on. So I decided I would try and get back upstairs again.
Like, slowly.
I quietly opened the door with my phone in front of me for light.
No, they gonna see that.
Then I stepped into the hall. I inched up a little closer to the stairs. Then I heard something again. I quickly crept into the next closest room with the door open and shut it.
No, don't shut it. Just
Still
go in.
didn't
That's
know
it.
what I was hiding from. Could it have been a staff member or janitor? At that point, the
could be
only reason I
anybody.
had of thinking it wasn't was because they only appeared down there after the lights turned off. I stood in that room in complete darkness, only listening and waiting for another sound from outside. But you know how when you're in a room with someone, even if you don't necessarily hear them,
You know.
you can kind of just sense their presence? That's suddenly the feeling I got standing in that pitch black room. I lifted my shaking hand up and pressed the home button on my phone to turn on the screen, just for half a second. That was enough to see someone standing in the corner of this little storage room, 3 feet away from me. I pretended I didn't see anything.
How
but
you
it-
gonna pretend you don't see that? I would have just darted for a Goldberg and spear, bro. Like, no, I just speared him.
away from me.
Do you know?
I pretended I didn't see anything, but it was too late. Shh, is what I heard, breaking the
Swing it.
silence. Then, a hand patted my shoulder twice and started squeezing.
Right?
I basically dove for the
I'm sorry to
doorknob.
stop and give a look. I know y'all be thinking I be joking. I be playing about bike, but I kid you not, bro. If you are, this is a message. I'm legit sending you this message. If you're ever, which I hope never, ever in trouble or in this situation. If somebody legit, you know they kidnap you, and they doing something, trying to rip you, whatever, and they legit just like do something like you access. I kid you not, bro. Biting someone hurts, bro. You can punch me all you want. Like, punch somebody, they be like, oh, it probably hurt. Like, little sting, boom, boom, boom. Biting someone, it's a pain where it's like, cause you got the grip, you got control. If I like, if you put your finger right here now, and your whole finger out biting it. It's you can't just pull it out because it's stuck in there. The teeth are dumb strong. The mouth is dumb strong, bro. And there's so much pain that even if they start swinging at you, they're gonna be hitting you, probably clocking in your head. It's gonna be hurt a little bit, but they ain't gonna have enough strength to like give it their full power. Because if you bite my finger like that's pain, bro. I can swing on one, but I'm talking about so much pain on me going to that whatever point you biting. Like, bro, bite. I kid you not, bite, it hurt, alright? The reason why you wanna know how I know, I told you this before, because in elementary school, I was bit before and it hurt by a human, not done by a human. I'm talking about, I'm crunching down, I'm like, ah! Like, I kid you not, it's pain. I'm telling you.
Is what I heard.
It's gonna hurt.
Silence. Then, a hand patted my shoulder twice and started squeezing it. I basically dove for the doorknob, struggling to find it at first.
Don't Lego, you gotta clench and hold like a pit bull.
The man in the room with me tried pushing the door shut after I opened it, but I was already out. I ran up the stairs and out the door to the main level of the music hall, where the lights were still on. I ran to Mr. Nicholson to tell him, out of breath.
Probably was him.
He called security to check the basement section of the music hall, but security came back upstairs and said, besides a bunch of music equipment moved around down there.
Duh, when that security just stood like, oh, you found me.
Mr. Nicholson canceled his flute lesson. And I sat there in the room with him and 5 flute players, explaining the whole story in detail. Without cameras in the music hall, there was no way of catching whoever went down there and killed the power for the basement. It seemed that he was trying to steal expensive music equipment.
No, he wasn't.
Or God knows what else. The next day, I was called into the dean's office to give my story of what happened, and the rest is history.
Yeah, the school history. My daughter would not be in that school no more. Nope. Last one is usually dummy scary.
One night, my friends and I hatched a genius plan. We'd sneak into the high school basement through one of the windows that was broken and never fixed. The thing about this window, you'd have to hop a short metal gate surrounding an outside staircase leading to the basement. Not that it would effectively stop anyone, but it added that extra barrier that makes you feel like you're really doing something devious when you crossed over it.
Why would you sneak to a basement?
We made sure there weren't any security cars anywhere nearby and hopped the gate. Crawling in through the window proved difficult, considering we had to boost ourselves up, then crawl through an insanely skinny opening. But once we were in, we were in. We kind of dispersed from each other to explore different areas.
I was just about to say, at least stay in the group.
One thing was for sure, the basement of the school was a mess, and anything but interesting. There was little light. One small white light was on in a far corner, and the exit sign light actually produced more light than you'd think. I was looking around when I saw one of my friends in front of me.
It ain't your friend.
He whispered, "Let's go upstairs."
Oh.
So I followed him upstairs, and he opened the door up to the main hallway of the school.
He whispered, "Let's go upstairs."
Everything was dark.
Because if you whisper, it really kind of don't sound like your voice. Hey, let's go upstairs. That ain't his friend. I'm genius. That ain't his friend. Watch. I watch too many scary movies.
I always thought there were at least some lights left on in the school at night. But no, not a single light was on. And all that really stood out as far as the eye could see were the various exit signs glowing
Ain't your
red.
friend.
I followed my friend down the hall and remembered saying, "Dude, this is really creepy."
I'm telling
He
you.
replied back,
He's whispering.
but I realized he was right. Who knew if somebody else could be in the building besides my friends and I?
Maybe it is his friend.
Little did I know just yet. I followed my friend to the bathroom, and he went into one of the stalls. I whispered, "Hurry up." I waited for a while. Then my phone started to ring.
And it's your real
I
friend.
picked up, and it was one of my friends, Chris. He asked, "Where the hell did you go?" I said I'm upstairs with either Roland or Brandon.
Roland and Brandon.
He said, "What do you mean? They're with me." And right after, both Brendan and Roland said hi.
I told you at that point. Imagine, look, like, yo, Charlie, where you at? No, I'm with so and so, wasn't it? No, so and so was. I'm sorry, bro. I knew it. I freaking knew. I am sorry, bro. Man, I would have darted out that bathroom, bro.
He said, "What do you mean? They're with me." And right after,
I went there.
both Brendan and Roland said hi, apparently on speakerphone.
Hey.
I stuttered the word I and stopped, trying to think straight. Then there was a laughing coming from in the stall. Not the laugh of any of my friends. I looked up at the stall. There was someone looking over it at me, probably standing on the toilet. I screamed holy shit over and over into the phone as I left the bathroom.
Yo, boys better go back in there for you.
I heard the stall door slam shut. I tried to run back to the basement in the dark, but it wasn't too easy to find in the dark.
No! He probably not building.
Luckily, I managed to find it, so I started to scream their names as I ran down the stairs.
They better be in there with you.
I screamed, "Go, go," when they answered, and we one by one jumped off some kind of bucket onto the window ledge.
Well, I'd have been pushing him out first.
I was the first one out, though, afraid that person from the
last.
bathroom was following. When we were all outside, I explained to them, out of breath, while also laughing now that I felt safe with all of them next to me. I guess we were loud or something, though, because as we all just started looking around at the whole school building and all the classroom windows, in one of the downstairs windows was someone with their hands pressed up on the glass. We could only see maybe half their face. I said that's gotta be him, as Roland ushered us to get the hell out of there.
Y'all should have been gone. I would have never stopped.
We ran until we were off the premises of the school.
I'd have still been running.
That. We came up with a lot of possible explanations, but none of them really made sense. Obviously,
y'all probably hear the ice cream truck outside the whole time. I forgot my window was open, bro, and it's dumb loud. My bad, I got the dang on window was open. Freaking ice cream truck out here. Let me go back a little bit.
So we were off the premises of the school.
This one was
and that
good.
was that. We came up with a lot of possible explanations, but none of them really made sense. Obviously, we never did anything like that again, though.
See, my thing is, hold up. Man, all I know is you got big lucky that he did not get you. Because I put it together. I know it. When he was like, let's go upstairs. I'm thinking like, all right, maybe it's his boy. And I'm like, no, wait a minute. He whispered it. And why do you want to go upstairs so fast? But we just got down here. Why? And then when he said something, he's like, shh, yep. And I never realized this in this video. Like, you really can't distinguish someone's like voice when you're like whispering. Because if I'm like, all right, y'all, so let's go. You really can't tell that's me. If I make a whole video like that, you can't tell that's me. So like you can kind of a little bit probably hear a little bit, but you can't really tell like, oh, that's so and so, because it's a whisper. It is no tone in the crap. But my thing is like, one thing I would not break into is the school, because if I was homeless, that's what I would shoot something in my eye. I would break into a school and I would go in the basement, because schools are huge at night. And the schools are huge, and at night no one's in there. And really in schools during the day, no one ever goes to school basement. It's probably like a good night school probably, but no one goes to a basement. So if I was homeless, I would break into school. I wouldn't hurt anybody, but I would break into school because for one, I know a good amount of them, when they done with food, they put the food up, and usually at night no one's there. So I can give me some food, boom. I know no one's in here, even though as a homeless person, I'll still be kind of scared because I don't like big buildings. So that's why I would not break into school, especially in the basement at that. Like no, you guys ain't breaking there all by yourself. When you're done, call me, let me know what happened, clown. But yo, if you guys enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment, share, you guys are amazing, you guys are awesome. But until next time, buddies, Charlie's out.